Hello, this is Dr. Glasbrenner from George Mason University, and in this video, we will review the starter files and dataset that we will be using to demonstrate functions in the dplyr package over the next several videos. You should have been provided with a link to obtain a copy of the dplyr demonstration starter files as part of this week's course materials. Your copy of the starter files will be contained in a GitHub repository that should look similar to the one displayed here. As usual, we need to clone this repository into our RStudio server account so that we can begin to use it. For practice, let us go through the cloning procedure step by step. Begin by clicking the big green button, which will open up a pop-up menu. In the pop-up menu, click the clipboard icon on the right of the box. Next, open a new tab or browser window and navigate to https://rstudio.cos.gmu.edu. If you are not logged into RStudio server, enter your net ID and password to log in. Then, click the new project icon, click version control, click Git, paste the link you copied into the text box labeled repository URL, and click the Create Project button. You may be asked to enter your GitHub username and password. Once you had done this correctly, the repository will be cloned to your RStudio server account. We will be using the file named dplyr_demo.rmd, which should be visible in the File Explorer window on the lower right. Click the name of the file to open it. You will be presented with a file that looks like this. Fill in your name at the top of the document and save the file. Let's practice committing and pushing this change to GitHub. On the upper right window, you should see the Git tab. Click it. Then, click the checkbox to the left of the file dplyr_demo.rmd. Then, click the Commit button. In the pop-up window, type a brief message describing your new commit, such as, added my name to file. Once your message is written, click the Commit button. Then click the Push button to send the changes to GitHub for safekeeping. Returning to the dplyr_demo.rmd file, there are a couple of things to point out before we move on to the demonstrations. You will need to run the setup block at the top of the file before you can follow along with any of the demos. If you close this project and open another one, for example, if you wanted to look at the visualization mini assignment, and then you come back to this demonstration later, like I'm showing here, then you will need to run the setup block again. In general, you should get in the habit of running the setup block before you start your work. Nearly every handout file you will receive will have one of these blocks in it. Running the setup block will load the tidyverse and lubridate packages into your RStudio server environment. Now that the environment is properly loaded, let's inspect the dataset we will be using in the dplyr demonstrations. The dataset is named Presidential. For your convenience, a code block is included at the top of the R Markdown document that contains the command view presidential. Execute this code block. You will see a new tab within RStudio open up, giving you a preview of the dataset's contents. As you can see, this is a small database of the presidents of the United States from Eisenhower up to Obama. The dataset has 11 rows and 4 columns. The columns are name, which is the last name of the president, start, which is the date the president started his first term in office, end, which is the date the president left office, and party, which is the political party the president belonged to. Again, going back to the main R Markdown document, below the code block we executed, there are spaces for you to type in the examples you will be shown for several functions in the dplyr package. You are highly encouraged to follow along, as typing out the code and running the examples is good practice and will help you remember how to use these functions in future assignments.